Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling. What if the final message of a beloved star could travel through the quiet hum of our devices? Etched not in ink, but in electricity. Tonight, T.Y. Williams' revelation collides with a 5.5-hour ride, a sudden rainbow, and an EVP that some say was more than coincidence. If Tam Thoai truly opens a door, did Yu Menglong step through, wrapped in white to stand beside the divine? The hall was not grand, yet it felt vast, as if the walls had stepped back to make space for silence. Candles breathed in unison. A banner lifted and fell like a slow heartbeat. People spoke less and noticed more. The crisp scrape of a chair, the gentle shiver of a sleeve, the tiny click as the recorder armed itself. Someone later said the room exhaled, and a soft current of cold air moved through the aisle. It was not frightening so much as clarifying, the way night air clears a misted window. In that pause, grief became collective rather than private. Strangers carried the same weight, just for a minute, and the floor felt steadier for it. Beyond the doors the sky held its breath, and a faint arc began to brighten over the rooftops. Were these signs, coincidences, or only the mind's generosity under strain? We will not resolve that here. What we can hold on to is the exact texture of the moment. People choosing reverence over noise, the discipline of listening without interrupting, a community agreeing wordlessly to make room for tenderness. Whatever you believe about what followed, the scene earned its quiet the honest way, through attention, restraint, and the courage to keep still long enough to notice when a room changes. Tam Thoai is often described in spiritual language, but its emotional grammar is understandable to anyone who has ever needed to let go. It is the act of stepping back from old ties, some chosen, some inherited, that no longer honor the person we wish to be. In this narrative, the right marks a change in weather. Not theatrical thunder, but a shift from heavy air to clean light. Symbolically, it speaks of reintegration, the scattered parts of self finding one another again, so that memory can be carried without tearing. Practically, it gives the living a ritual vocabulary for agency. A way to say, we release the story that holds us in pain. For some, that is theology, for others, psychology. Either way, the turn matters. When communities name a moment as decisive, it becomes a hinge. The before is acknowledged, the after becomes possible. We do not claim proof in the empirical sense. We claim the legitimacy of meaning-making, done with reverence and consent. Even the white garments in these accounts function less as spectacle than as permission, to picture peace, to exchange an image of fear for one of dignity. If a rite can do that, if it can give grief a direction of travel, then the turning is not only plausible, it is merciful. Electronic voice phenomena sits in a liminal corridor between physics, perception, and longing. The language around it, phase, drift, coherence, can comfort skeptics without convincing them, and steady believers without silencing their awe. But the heart of the matter is more human. We listen for patterns when life has fallen out of pattern. A recorder captures a texture in the static. People hear contours that resemble words. Meaning pours itself into the shape that community provides. Is that proof? Not in any laboratory sense, and we will not pretend otherwise. Yet it is not nothing. In grief, a shared listening exercise can be pastoral. A carefully moderated hearing that allows memory to speak, even if the physics remain unresolved. In our telling, the EVP becomes an ethical practice of attention, timestamp, compare, disagree kindly, and name uncertainty out loud. We recommend compassionate guardrails, clear unverified captions, no sensational subtitles, an invitation to abstain for those who find it unsettling. Whether the signal is external or internal, the care is real. And perhaps that is the cleanest way to hold the mystery. Treat the tape as a mirror that can either distort or dignify, depending on how gently we approach it. Curiosity, yes, coercion, never. T.Y. Williams offers a before and after image that functions like a bomb. Before. A figure bound in cold, the language of fear written across the shoulders. After the right, a presence described as calm, clothed in white standing beside the good. Taken as literal, it is a testimony. Taken as metaphor, it is still a gift. Minds wounded by shock need a counterimage strong enough to soothe without lying. White here is not a costume but a temperature. A suggestion that the room inside you can be cooled and cleared. We should be honest. Vision talk can divide audiences. Some will hear it as revelation, others as artful consolation. Our approach is to honor what it accomplishes. A vision responsibly held can act as an emotional scaffold while reality is too jagged to lean on. It lets fans replace a final scene of panic with a final scene of poise, so that remembrance is not forever tethered to the worst moment. If you do believe, receive it gently. If you do not, you may still recognize the psychological wisdom of exchanging images of harm for images of wholeness. Either way, what matters is the ethical direction of travel, from constriction to openness, from trembling to steadiness, from fear to light. Stories like this can trap us in passive awe, or they can promote a change of posture. The healthiest communities choose the latter. Spectators ask, "What happened?" Caretakers ask, "What can we mend?" Here is where remembrance becomes practical. Light a candle, yes, but also light the way for someone else. Check in on a friend who has gone quiet. Write a kind comment where cruelty would be easy. Donate time to a helpline or a small arts fund. Support ethical coverage over gossip. Consider adopting one white act each week. A modest deed, named and shared only to normalize mercy. Collective rituals can lift watch time. Collective care can lift lives. This is not moralizing. It is maintenance. A way to keep the air breathable after a public tragedy. In many cultures, grief is a verb. We cook, we tidy, we accompany. Online, accompaniment looks like moderation, patience, and refusing to turn a person into a plot device. If the narrative claims that someone now supports the divine, we can echo that by supporting the vulnerable with ordinary steadiness. The shift from spectator to caretaker is not dramatic. It is cumulative. 1,000 small courtesies form a net. When the next person falls, that net is what keeps them from breaking. Humility is the only tone that fits a threshold subject. These accounts are unverified. They belong to testimony, ritual, and personal faith. We present them as stories people told with trembling sincerity, not as data that has cleared peer review. If your instinct is to question, your care for truth is welcome here. If your instinct is to trust, your hope is welcome here too. We ask both sides to practice a discipline that is rarer than certainty. Listening without sneer or scold. Our editorial stance is simple. No sensationalism, clear labeling, and a bias toward compassion. We decline to manufacture drama. We decline to punish belief. We do encourage boundaries. If EVP material unsettles you, please skip. If debate becomes unkind, we will moderate. The aim is not to win an argument, but to keep a space where grief can breathe and curiosity can proceed without harm. To hold belief and doubt in the same room is not a compromise. It is a courtesy. It keeps the channel safe for a global audience with many languages for the unseen, and one shared language for respect. Rainbows thin. Rooms empty. Recorders click to a stop. What remains is what always remains after ceremony. The residue of intention. If you come away with anything, let it be permission to remember the living as you wish they had been remembered in their gentlest hour, and to be that gentleness for someone else. Symbols are not substitutes for action, but they can align us toward it. The white garment becomes a practice of clarity. The cold current becomes a reminder to breathe. The arc in the sky becomes an argument for patience. In time, even the sharpest ache softens enough to make room for work. Creative work that honors, civic work that protects, private work that keeps hearts soft in hard seasons. We will never all agree on what the signs mean. We do not have to. The gift is smaller and sturdier. A steadier way of speaking about loss, a kinder way of speaking to one another, and a shared refusal to let the worst moment be the last word. If there is any support for the divine we can confirm, it is this: to choose the good that is within reach again and again, long after the color has drained from the sky.